Hey guys, it's Music Sim Sleep. Last night, because it was really hot outside, I was not getting into sleep. So I was like half asleep, trying to think of things that I could do for my vlog today. And I thought of a bunch of things. It was like, okay, I finally need to go to sleep. And so I did. And this morning I woke up and I was like, okay, good, I have ideas. I can do this tonight. I forgot all but one. And the only reason I remembered it is because it's been mentioned like 500 times before. And that is Twilight versus Harry Potter. Now don't go to some other video right now. I know you've heard so much about this, and I know it's... But I'm not going to choose one or the other. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, Twilight's so much better. Team Jacob! By the way, I would never choose Team Edward. Just saying. I personally do not like being mainstream enough to have those books in my life, and I know you guys are going to hate me for this, I never really liked either of them at all. Yes, I read up to the 4th book in Harry Potter, and it was so boring for me that I could not read any farther. And then I started reading the 7th book and I got more than halfway through and it was so repetitive. The only thing that happens to Harry is that some like crazy thing would happen and then he would get all upset and then he would go and like, you know, sit somewhere and think to himself and then he would get back on and then someone would die and then the whole thing would happen again. I mean, I guess it progressed into a story, but it was so boring and I couldn't deal with it anymore. And Twilight just didn't have a plot. It was good for what it was made for. It was like, you know, but as creative as people might think it was more like people who were totally had huge amounts of impediments together, and for some reason they were totally whacked impediments on the dude's side. So yeah, it wasn't. So yeah, that's my view on Harry Potter vs. Twilight. And this is coming from the girl who reads 18th century literature and doesn't find that boring. Something that has recently gotten on my nerves, as many of you have probably realized, but just the small amount that I've said about it, I am so against mainstream. And so the first time I thought about, okay, I really need to get out of the mainstream, I need to like do something totally different, I thought goth. Yeah. I totally tried to follow along with this girl I knew who I thought she looked pretty cool and like she was totally different, and so I decided, okay, I'm gonna try to be like emo, goth, teen, whatever I chose. And then it took a couple people for me to truly realize that was really seriously just conforming to a different thing. That was like, all of them look the same, even more than the people who I already think conform. And they give themselves a label. And they get mad if you mix up their labels because they want to be labeled. If that's not conforming, I don't know what conforming is. Today we had our class picture, and I really couldn't help noticing how similar a lot of people looked, and then the very few that just kind of stood out. Don't get me wrong, some of them stood out in the most horrible ways. As in, they wore nothing. I mean, you know, not nothing, but everyone knows people like that. But everyone really just, they were really easy to lose in a crowd, and I know that's been something I've been seriously against for a while, and that really annoyed me. So that's really all I have to say that's gotten on my nerves today. So, yeah. Bye!